I will be discussing today is gender from week 5. It's important to distinguish between the terms sex and gender. Sex is biological. It's what automatically assigns us as either male or female at birth. For example, men produce testosterone hormones, whereas women produce estrogen hormones. Additionally, we have differing reproductive systems. Gender, on the other hand, is socially constructed. It's the performed ideas we have about masculinity and femininity, and the way that we apply these notions to the people based on their sexes. For example, women wear dresses and makeup, whereas men wear suits, ties, no makeup, and short hair. It is argued that because pulp culture texts dominate our cultural space, influencing socialization and thus the constructed nature of gender as a whole. Bain 2014 tells us, collectively we learn a set of beliefs and values through images and narratives that take on appearance of normality. However, there is nothing natural about media culture. Pop culture texts have been constructed. We're going to specifically focus on feminism and the recurring narrative through pop culture text that demonstrates gender disparity, that is, that men and women are not equal. Feminism refers to organised activity around social, political and ideology activity by women for the promotion of their rights, opportunities and fighting for the equality of the sexes. Constantine and Samola 2017 help us to understand this concept through 4 different feminisms, theorising the different causes and solutions. 1 is Marxist, 2 is liberal, 3 is radical, and the 4th is the dual systems. I'm going to be analysing feminism through a dual systems theory lens. Women's oppression is the result of a complex articulation of both patriarchy and capitalism. Throughout history, women have been oppressed, discriminated and dominated against by males through all areas of life, including religious persecution, the ability to work, forced reproductive labour. To sum this up, the purpose of woman was excessive breeding of children and to stay at home and cook all day, the housewife. An example of popular culture, among many others, that demonstrates this is the television series on SBS and Netflix, The Handmaid's Tale, written by Margaret Atwood. The story describes a dystopian sexist society named Gilead, which took over parts of the US set in the 1980s, driven by a patriarchy and capitalist approach. The female narrator and protagonist, Offred, tells the story of a fundamentalist Christian and totalitarian regime controlling women's lives to be politically correct in the eyes of the Gilead society. The novel focuses on the life of women forced to live as their handmaid, as a slave and a surrogate womb for elite couples struggling to have children. This narrative plays on 2 elements. One is the idea that men go to work and women stay at home. Another is women are bred and used for breeding again and multiplying. This is an example from The Handmaid's Tale. Their unique and true identities were stolen from them. As you can see, it's almost impossible to identify individuals as they look the same. In this second photo, you can see this was a scene where their right to speech was taken away, with their mouths being covered up, threatened to be hung, and violently abused and tortured as a sole reminder of a place in society. To conclude, pop culture and the notion of gender work hand in hand. Pop culture is gendered, but it's the case that the culture we consume genders us. We have and will continue to perform gender, which is used as a narrative like feminism to attract popularity and relatability, but we'll also continue to consume these texts that are based on storylines related to society's performances and what we deem as feminine and masculine behaviours. It is powerfully effective scenes. These powerfully effective scenes in The Handmaid's Tale invite us to feel for the oppressed, to relate to others, and to think about the future we are now creating. Is it the Gilead regime, or is it something else that is already occurring in the world? Therefore, it can be argued that pop culture does exclude, bolster, and antagonize feminists. Biologically, women as a recurring narrative based on past events in history. Thank you. Did I mutter too?
Oh.
Did I mutter too many times?
No, but those went quicker. Oh.
Why?